Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups. We're looking forward to hearing from Terry Johnson online everywhere from New York City and from Dr. Tachi all the way from Florida. We're here and it is time to Tech Talk with the Tech Diva Weekly. What you got going on over there, Fran?
You know what? I got a lot going on, and I need to.
Are
But
we in the clubhouse?
yes, we shall
Hey
be.
guys, I just want to give a shout out to everyone listening in the clubhouse. For those of you watching live and on the replay, welcome to the conversation.
Yeah. I'm pushing buttons over here. By the way.
Mhm. Tech Life Weekly is live. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll do what we can to address those questions. Something people often tell me they don't know exactly what BizChicks does. We do live streaming for you. We will produce your programs. We handle your tech and your graphics. So if you have questions about tech, please direct message us and let's see if we can help you out.
Yay. Okay. We always start out Fridays with This Week in Tech History. So let's talk about a little tech history.
Mm.
February 28th, 1954, the first color television set using the
Mm.
NTSC standard are offered for sale to the general public. NTSC is the standard used in most of North and South America, Japan, and a few other places in the world.
Oh,
First color TVs go on sale in 1954. Uh, yeah,
we had one of those TVs.
we probably did too.
Hmm.
This is just interesting. February 28th, 2002, then Disney CEO Michael Eisner testifies at a Senate Commerce Committee hearing in Washington, D.C. on the protection of digital content from piracy.
Mm. Hmm.
Eisner lobbies for sterner enforcement of copyright laws, claiming that Apple computer advertisements for the iPod encourage copyright violations. Rip, mix, burn. They can create a theft if they buy this computer. Okay. A little over 3 years later, Eisner was later replaced as CEO by Robert Iger, who quickly arranged the buyout of Pixar Animation Studios, of which Steve Jobs was the CEO. This move made Steve Jobs Disney's largest shareholder and a member of the Disney board. Okay. I,
Okay. So
just
you went from
just don't be hating on people
they come back and buy your company.
or be on the board that you work at. And then this
Hmm.
he was what did they say that he was replaced 3 years later. Okay, okay. First spacecraft to land on another planet. The unmanned Soviet space probe Venera 3 crashes into the night side of Venus, becoming the first spacecraft to land on another planet. Okay, the inference here is that it wasn't intentional.
Mm.
March
Okay.
1st, March 1st, 1976, Steve Wozniak completes the basic design for the circuit board of a relatively easy to use personal computer. The next day, he shows it to the Homebrew Computer Club, which Steve Jobs attends. Jobs realizes the potential and convinces Wozniak not to give away the schematics, but instead produce printed circuit boards to sell. The two Steves form a company which they name Apple, and Wozniak's design becomes the basis of the Apple I computer. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Is history.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And,
This,
and, and see, that's why you need to have cheerleaders and coaches around you in a community, because had Steve Jobs said, "Hey, don't just give that away,"
yeah. Wow.
we just the one little idea, don't give that away. Let's create some stuff with it. We were talking about browsers earlier this week, on Tuesday with TJ, and March 1st, yeah, internet browsers. And,
Mhm.
because there's Bing, who is trying to use AI in
Chat,
there.
chat GPT. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Microsoft is putting in their browsers AI. Well, March 1st, 2008, America Online discontinues the Netscape web browser. Netscape was the first commercial web browser largely responsible for helping popularize the internet in the mid-90s. Netscape eventually was overtaken by Microsoft's Internet Explorer, as Microsoft included it for free with every copy of Windows. However, the computer code for Netscape lives on as the basis of Mozilla Firefox, which continues to gain popularity to this day. So it's still hanging around, but it is not.
Well, Mark says, "Happy Friday. Direct me to the bar." It's been that kind of week. He says, but he will always miss You've Got Mail.
You've got, yeah.
AOL.
AOL, and we can take some from that. They didn't
shift.
Shift, evolve.
They got
adapt.
comfortable being number one.
They did not adapt. Concorde makes a maiden flight. March 2nd, 1969, the Concorde supersonic transport makes its maiden flight. The Concorde is only the second supersonic passenger airline to have been commercially operated. The Concorde fleet flew until November 26, 2003. Got some comments over here. Hey, Beverly. Thank you. So Beverly is watching over here too. She likes this segment of the show.
Well, Mark says, "I will not miss the never-ending supply of AOL CDs in the mailbox." But he's so true. It's so true, Mark.
Look, we started making coasters and wall decor, and because they were sending one out every week trying to get you to sign up for that little bit of time. Okay. A couple of more stories. Gates admits, Pioneer 10 launched. March 2nd, 1972, NASA launches Pioneer 10, spacecraft on a mission to explore the outer planets of the solar system. It will pass near Jupiter and Neptune before leaving the solar system. Sometimes y'all just need to like the house. The planet wasn't made for us to be doing all of that, but okay. In March 2nd, 1997, during a hearing on Microsoft alleged antitrust activity, Bill Gates admits Microsoft's contracts bar internet content providers from promoting the Netscape browser. Eventually, Internet Explorer dominates the web browser market as it is shipped for free with every copy of Windows.
Oh, is that how they got the market share? Okay. Because I know, at the state, that was the browser they used. And I'm like, what is this? What
because
is this?
because the state was not going to pay for Netscape when
That came with the
Microsoft,
software. Mm-hmm.
right? So why would you? And now it is standard. Um, Chrome is free,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get it if you want it. Mozilla Firefox is free, and you can get it if you want it. But both Microsoft comes with Edge now. It's no longer called Explorer; it's called Edge, and then Safari comes standard with a Mac. But there's now it's easier to maneuver. March 3rd, 1971, Magnavox gets the exclusive licensing tele, gets the exclusive licensing of television video game technology from Sanders Associates. The
Really?
first home video game console, the Odyssey, was developed at Sanders by a team headed by Ralph Baer. Okay.
Was that Pong? What was that?
No, you said Odyssey.
Okay.
It looks like Odyssey, but okay, okay. You still need the adapt and die because it's what is left. Atari. Um, we still
And
have
that,
others.
and Carlos says that moment is very important. If not for that, we would not have been threatened by the government to split up, then motivated Microsoft to give Steve Jobs money to save Apple. Okay. And then
Right.
Mark says, let's play Pong.
Pong was fun actually.
Mm-hmm.
March 3rd, 2004, Michael Dell, founder and CEO of Dell Computers, announces that he will step down from his CEO role while retaining his position as chairman of the board. Dell president and COO Kevin Rowlands will assume his role. On January 3rd, 2007, about a year after Dell fell behind Apple in market capitalization, Rowlands will resign and Dell will resume his role as CEO due to the poor performance of the company. And that is your week in tech history.
All righty. All righty then. I'm just saying.
We got
Well,
Dr. Tachi over here in Clubhouse too. I don't know what happened to Beverly, but she was there. Woo! We got TJ
hey, TJ.
out.
How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stage. Uh, well, I've got just one story here about a Twitch streamer. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy here, but I'm going to share my screen and see if I can get him adjusted so that you can see him. Can you see him really well?
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Kai Sinat. He has broken the record of attracting the most, are you ready for this? Twitch subscribers. According to the article in USA Today, or is this, no, in BBC. Excuse me. And it didn't start till I started talking. Just a minute. Isn't that the way? Okay. Kai is a 21-year-old U.S. streamer. He's amassed over 300,000 subscribers on the Amazon-owned streaming service following a month-long drive to increase subscriptions.
So Amazon now owns Twitch. Interesting. It's interesting why. I mean, Amazon. Okay, we talk about how Facebook or Meta
Mm-hmm.
buys their competition. But we don't talk about how Amazon be buying competition.
Yeah.
Okay, because Amazon bought out the guy who created the Ring doorbell.
Right.
He paid, yeah, so he paid like $1 billion and some. And dude is like, whoa,
You got a lot of money for that.
a lot of money. And so they bought Twitch. And they're buying other things. And then we be looking at Meta crazy, but Meta be messing it up after they get it. So
it says his substation launched on February 1st, and they saw Kai streaming 24 hours a day, chatting, gaming, sleeping, interviewing guests. All of this was taking place on camera. So the popular YouTuber officially overtook former Twitch record holder Ludwig Ogwin on Tuesday. Twitch is that live streaming platform where people typically play video games while chatting with the viewers. And this is pretty popular. I see my grandson watching this all the time. He's 16. And he's got a favorite guy that he watches when he's here that plays Xbox games or something.
Right. And the way you were reading the story is that USA Today has no clue what Twitch is. They
had to tell their subscribers what Twitch was.
Okay, yes, but
so
but Twitch has been,
yeah, it's about gamers. You know what I mean?
Yes, Mark has a comment. He said, finally, an inspiration for a show. You can tune in and watch me sleep.
Yes, see?
Watch TV, right. And, okay.
Ludwig previously held the record for the most Twitch subscribers, hitting a peak of 283,000 viewers during a nonstop stream in April of 2021. But 2 years later, Canet broke Ludwig's record with his own subscription marathon or subathon, a stream for a countdown with a countdown timer, which is extended every time someone subscribes to the channel. Oh, that's I like that. Okay, so sort of like what every subscriber gives you life, gives you more minutes.
Yeah, a video game life. Okay, get some more.
Yes. Okay. Twitch offers subscriptions to users as a means of supporting their favorite streamers and creators on the platform. In the UK, the basic subscription package costs $3.99 or with pounds or $4.99 in the US. In other words, $5 for additional tiers, which are costing more. So you can also gift subscriptions, so subscriber numbers can increase in part thanks to healthier fans who pay for monthly subscriptions for their views. So I thought this was interesting.
Right. Carlos had a couple of Carlos had a comment, and then Mark. Carlos says Twitch had interesting beginnings.
Oh, okay.
And then Mark said, have you considered adding your show to Twitch? I've seen a show that is discussion, no gaming, that has a lot of viewers. And we do have a Twitch account. We just, I got to see if we can add it. I think we may be able to add it, but we do have a Twitch account.
You can. All you have to do is put in the Twitch, put in the RT. Actually, you could go from StreamYard, just add Twitch.
Yeah. So we'll add another
destination. So I just thought this was interesting. So that's
okay. So Dr. Tachi, say that again, Dr. Tachi.
I said that we added Twitch to what we do with Mediascope. It does fairly well. If you know that you have people over on Twitch, it's helpful.
Oh, okay. And Carlos says, same with YOLO Live, Twitch is built in. I'm not sure what that means.
that you can go straight from the YOLO Live device to Twitch.
Oh, okay.
So YOLO Live is a hardware device, and apparently, because I haven't used it yet, he could tell you more, but apparently it's kind of like what I have with my A10 Mini Pro, that you can go live directly. You don't have to go from an encoder. That is a hardware encoder. So you could go live directly to Twitch, to YouTube, and to other platforms as well.
Okay, cool. And Mark says, I think he's talking about you, Dr. Tachi, like a voice from heaven.
Oh, how we love you, Mark.
Okay, and so that's it for me, guys. I'm going to start sharing. But I thought that was interesting that someone has moved the champion out of the way, and we're moving on in the world of Twitch.
Okay.
All right.
Carlos has a comment about the YOLO,
Okay.
YOLO Live Live.
Mm-hmm.
YOLO Live is what I use and I sell. I brought YOLO Live products to the U.S. and I represent them all over the world. Oh, okay.
Good.
Well done, Carlos.
Yeah.
So if y'all need to get a YOLO Live and you want to try out going directly to different platforms, you might need to reach out to Carlos Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Or if he has an affiliates link, he can drop it in there in the chat, in the comments.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So next up, we have TJ. Woo. Do we need to buckle our seatbelts?
No, not this week.
Okay.
Everything's good. Like, things have relaxed. So this week in social media news, let's start with Snapchat. The big news with Snapchat is that they have added an AI chat bot powered by Chat GPT. That's the hot news, hotter than TikTok, hotter than anything is Chat GPT. So now it's called My AI Bot. It's called My AI. It's a bot, and here's the downside. If you consider the downside, you have to be a Snapchat Plus subscriber. So remember, we always talk about why do you want to pay for Snapchat Plus? Well, they're going to get a lot of signups from this.
Okay. And what does this do?
Okay, so let's talk more about it. So Snapchat is introducing this chat bot. It is powered by the latest version of OpenAI's Chat GPT, and according to Snap CEO Evan Spiegel, so he's betting that these chatbots are going to become a part of everyday life for most people, and I agree. We're just at the beginning, and I've said that it's going to be integrated into all your everything. So Snapchat is putting it in, and they're calling this My AI. It's going to be pinned to the app's chat tab above conversation with friends. Snapchat Plus is $3.99 a month. So it's going to roll out to those people first, and then eventually they're going to make this bot available to all of Snapchat's 750 million monthly users. Here's the quote from from the CEO. The big idea is that in addition to talking to our friends and family every day, we're going to talk to AI every day. And this is something we're well positioned to do as a messaging service. So I like how he's one of the CEOs that Snapchat, they always know what they are. And there's always this Instagram versus Snapchat, or this versus that, or this is going to kill Snapchat, or Snapchat is dead, because it's not a social media platform. He knows it's a messaging service, and that's the core of Snapchat. And again, we talked about this before, that if you're of a certain age, Snapchat's not on your radar, and that's a good thing, because Snapchat knows what it is. It's for 18 to 34.
Right.
And they want those messages to disappear.
Okay, they're not trying, because if they wanted more, they could advertise and push it out. But Snapchat knows what they are. It's a niche social media platform. Niche, meaning it doesn't apply to everyone. So they're very happy with what they have. Okay, so that's what's going on with this. Now, they're saying that the difference with this Snap My AI is more restricted in what it can answer. Snap employees have trained it to adhere to the company's trust and safety guidelines
Ah.
and not give responses that include swearing, violence, sexually explicit content, or opinions about dicey topics like politics. It has
Mm.
also been stripped of its functionality that has gotten ChatGPT banned in schools. Okay, so they already know
They
that their
they
audience.
know who they
Hmm.
are, who they serve,
Hmm.
and what the pitfalls are. And
Right.
mhm.
Right. So this article was from The Verge. So The Verge person that wrote the story said that they tested it, and they
Mhm.
said Snap's implementation treats generative AI more like a persona. The person said my AI profile page looks like any other Snapchat user's profile, but it has a little weird looking bit emoji at the top. The design suggests that my AI is meant to be another friend inside of Snapchat for you to hang out with, not a search engine. So
Mm.
Snap is one of the first clients of OpenAI's new enterprise tier called Foundry, which is their API. They're leasing their connection out, which lets companies run its latest GPT 3.5 model with dedicated computing design for large workloads. That just means that um there's two parts of this Chat GPT OpenAI that you can use. You can use the interface from Chat GPT, which I think you can go to AI.com and get it, which is a
Okay.
shorter URL. And then they have the API side, which they are leasing out to large corporations and entities like Snap and Microsoft's a part of it and all that other stuff. So that's what's going on with Snap. What do
Wow.
you think of that?
I love the fact that this is well thought out. They they knew that parents would go berserk if they thought the kids were using it to cheat and do other things, or to get, have sexually explicit
Yes.
conversations in a
Yes.
fantasy environment.
Right.
They avoid all of the potential stuff. I
Right.
love the fact that they thought this out,
Yes, they
unlike
did.
some of the people who were anxious to get theirs out and they just
Yeah, they just wanted
all over
yeah,
the
they just
place.
wanna use it and get it because it's a hot new thing and we gotta get on the trend and
Hmm.
that's another thing that Google's doing. Google hasn't released their Bard AI generative AI bot to the public because they are one stepping back and looking at seeing what the pitfalls are, and two, they're gonna try their best. Nobody's perfect at this before they release theirs to the wild. I mean, to the public, because people are just
Yes.
taking this
Hmm.
thing through the paces. Like I'm pretty sure Microsoft didn't think that people were going to get in there and make their little Bing chat thing say all kind of stuff. So
No.
it's good that they're taking a step back and saying, wait a minute, we want to integrate this, but we want to integrate it the right way and make it fit our goals. So Snap did that because Snap knows that they have the Gen Z young generation. Is it 13 to 34? It might be 13 to 34. I said 18, might be 13. I got to check my numbers. But that's what's going on with Snap.
Can you hear
I'm,
me?
Yes, go ahead.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think this is really interesting with Snap, and it reminds me of, if you all remember, back in the late 80s, almost early 90s, but really late 80s. Remember after Atari came out, the home video game age was really born. And then you had a whole bunch of people that came out, and it seemed for a minute that
Mhm.
people were tired of it, and it wasn't doing that. Home video games were doing as well, and it wasn't going to be a thing. So one by one, Atari and all these other the home video game makers pulled out of the game. But
Mhm.
Nintendo was waiting in
Mhm.
the wings, and they were, no,
Yep.
no, wait for it. No, 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 wait, no, not yet, just wait. And as soon as everybody got tired enough, bam, Nintendo came in and swept the home video game market.
They
And
did.
think when we're seeing that type of thing, if Google is smart, they're going to pull a Nintendo move.
Yes.
Don't wait too long, but just see what's happening, because what happens is people jump on things and launch because it's making money and there's buzz about it, but they haven't really taken the time to investigate whether or not this actually has real utility for the masses, for the public. So I think that Google is smart by waiting and hanging back for a minute and just saying, let's just wait and see what we can do, and making Bard something, I don't even want to say far better than ChatGPT, but that has further capabilities than ChatGPT does. So that's what I think that Google is waiting on. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like.
No, I agree with you. And I remember Nintendo, we didn't even hear Nintendo until they came out. I think it was Duck Hunt was their game that put them on the map.
Duck Hunt. Yes.
Duck Hunt. Yeah. Because before that, it wasn't any kind of game before that. And you're right. They sat back in the wings in the cut and looked at everything, and that's a smart position to be, because it's pretty much like you're on top looking down. So Google's on the top looking down, because they're like, they don't have to move as fast as Microsoft, because Microsoft only has like 3-4% of the search engine market. So Google has the rest. So they're, on the top person, they're looking down saying, okay, well, what are the people doing? What are the competitors doing? And, they've got their people working on it. So again, that's why they haven't released it. They talked about Bard. We haven't seen it. It's being internally tested.
And I like that.
Yeah, based on what's going outside, what's going on with Microsoft and all the other ones that are scrambling, like Dr. Tati said.
I think that is wisdom.
Yes, it is.
Google serves such a wide audience that they have to be careful about, children and offending people, and how much access to what. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we got these comments from Mark.
Yeah, Mark says, why would you need AI in Snapchat? How would you use it there? Well, again, this story, the person that wrote it from, I think it was from The Verge, was saying that it was more of a ask it kind of thing versus ChatGPT is outside, because ChatGPT is not a search engine per se. It is I call it the genie. You're asking it, you're rubbing the lamp, give me this, and it's giving it to you, depending on how you ask. Bing is more of we're taking that technology and putting it into search. Because I looked at Bing this week, and I finally got in, and I looked at the thing, and I was like,
it's not that serious.
It's not. No, because they limit you. You get 6 chances to ask a question on a theme per se, and every time you ask it, it says 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3, and then when you get to 6 of 6, it stops. It says move on, and I'm like, I don't like that. So I tried it once this week, and I put it to the side because I was like, I don't.
But you can understand that, because they found that as people kept drilling down, they got into the alter ego of this AI.
But see, that's Microsoft. They should have fixed that. But see, with ChatGPT, I don't go through that. I have never gotten anything what these people or the other writers have done. Like, they've gotten, things to say, things about their wives and divorcing and leaving. I'm like, how did they get to that point with
because they kept drilling down. Bing. You see what I mean?
Right. But see, now they fixed it to where Bing only gives you 6
opportunities,
6 answers of a certain topic of what you ask it, and that's it. And it stops and says, move on. It said, move on to something else. And I was like, how dare you? I read the ChatGPT, you don't need you. Because I'm like, one, I don't use Bing. I don't use Bing.
Not how dare you.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I wish I had saved it. I'm probably do it again and post it and show you. But it was like, how dare you? How are you limiting me? You're limiting me. ChatGPT doesn't limit me. All the other generative AI tools don't limit me. Now they may limit you on price, like like Midjourney and some of the others. You get 25. Like with Midjourney, you get 20. I think you get 25 images for free, and after that, you have to pay. But it's a tool worth paying for if you have a need for it. So that's the way it limits. But other than that, once you get past the gate of the price, you can just you could just rub that lamp, wave that wand, and ask it whatever you like for as long as you like. It doesn't stop. But see, Bing is like, okay, because I think it was the New York Times and somebody else, couple other journalists really went deep into it, which they weren't expecting that. So they went deep in it, and Microsoft like, whoa, let's put a limit on it. So it really doesn't function that well for me. Okay. So, and plus, I don't like the Bing app. I use it. It's like the Google. I use the Google app, and I go in and I ask it stuff, and I get news based on what I asked it, and stuff like suggestions. But I go into Bing. I don't like that interface. I don't like the stories they give me. I don't like anything about Bing, so I'm going to delete it because I got ChatGPT and others.
I never liked the Bing browser.
Right. There's nothing to like about it at all.
Bing is nonsense. Sorry.
But I wanted to try it.
And only the people who like it because it came with Microsoft and they've been using it.
Right. Now I want to try the Bing before they put this cap on it, this limit. That's the Bing I want to try, the one that they got to find out their real name was Sydney and all the stuff. And they started saying crazy things. Now that one I want to try, but I can't get to that because they put a gate. They put a gate there. Microsoft put a gate there. After 6 times, it says move on to another topic. Like it's not gonna give you anymore.
Okay, but even when we do a Google search, if we want to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper down the hole, we can go.
It doesn't stop you, right? I'm going to see if I deleted the app. I got so mad. I got really mad. I was like, this is crazy. And the thing is, because I've been doing more Reddit searches because there's a Chat GPT over there, there's an Open AI, and I'm just learning more stuff. So that is a sentiment that all of these people have, is like Microsoft put this training wheels or gate on it to stop the baby from going down the stairs. And they're not happy with it. And I agree with them.
I'm not sure which of Mark's comments we have put up.
He said it was the Snapchat one was the last one we did.
Snapchat? Okay, so
after that.
Mark says, hey, AI, bring me 25 paying clients, sign them up, schedule them, bill them. I'm going back to bed. Then he says, now that I say that all my friends are artificial, it will literally be true.
And fake friends for real.
That was the Nintendo.
He said the late 80s. Oh, Tachi, we are all way too young, but we have read about it.
Yeah, I think I got mad and deleted Bing. Oh no, here, let me see on my second phone. Okay, it's still there. Let me see, because I went in and it popped up. I was so excited. It said, "Oh, you now have access to Bing, the AI search, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Ooh, okay, let me go in." And the thing was like, okay, so when you go in, it says choose a conversational. I know we're getting ahead because I have a Microsoft section, but it says choose a conversation style, more creative, more balanced, more precise. Now I don't remember that, so maybe I'll go in more precise. Let me see. And then it gives you suggestions like, great, let's change the subject. What's on your mind? Teach me about the moon landing, how to achieve goals, how do I bake a cake?
Wait, did it say just let's change the topic?
No, change the subject. I changed it was set to more balanced, the style. Okay. Then I changed it to more precise. It says responses are factual and concise, prioritizing accuracy and relevancy for you. Now I'm trying to remember what I asked it that it.
The suggestions that it gave you were stuff that you could do like on a regular search, like
because it's a search engine. ChatGPT,
okay.
when you go to ChatGPT, that's not a search engine. It's just
Correct.
says new chat, a blank, and you fill in the blank.
Okay.
This is a search engine saying, okay, what do you want? So I'm gonna say, so it's giving me more suggestions. Is my data private? Okay, so it says that's a great question. Take a look at these resources. Learn more about Microsoft privacy practices. 1 of 6. So if I do tell me more about Bing, I'm tapping it. It's giving me suggestions. So I'm tapping it. It says searching for Bing. And now it comes up and it tells me what Bing is. And now it's 6. So I can, it's going through giving me, like a Wikipedia kind of answer. And then there's suggestions. I don't have to, there's a microphone and then there's suggestions. I'm just tapping the suggestions. So now it says, how does Bing work? Now it's 3 of 6. So once it gets to 6 of 6, it's going to tell me to move on. That I don't like.
They still ain't, okay, so it's not like ChatGPT because it's giving you stuff they already had in the.
Because this is search.
Wow.
ChatGPT is like, it has access to everything that's ever been written on the internet, which this does too, but in a different way because Microsoft has to write the code for the search engine. Understand? ChatGPT is a different animal.
Okay, so I'm really trying to make sure I'm understanding this. So pretty much that's just like what we do on Google and just search because it was not.
It would appear.
Right. And so what would the AI part of it really wasn't doing?
So really it's just giving me, it's going through how does Bing rank its search engine. And then it gives me an answer. It says 4 of 6. And then it says learn more. And then it has links to seroundtable.com, searchengineland.com plus 3 more. So if I wanted to go to the website from this answer, I could go. Or I could go and ask it something else based on this topic, or I can use what I'm doing. And I'm just using the suggestions because it's going through. How can I improve my website ranking on Bing? Now, when I get to 6, it's going to tell me like you got to move on.
You're done.
The conversation's over.
You don't want to talk about it anymore.
So it gives me the answer that I'm asking. And then it says learn more. And then this one said, now go to Forbes.com, WebEx.com. So it's giving me like, I want to get to 6 of 6 so I can read you what it says.
Okay.
So now that's 5 of 5. So the last thing, how do I optimize my page load speeds? Is searching for. It says searching for. ChatGPT doesn't say searching. It just, when you ask it, write me a blog post, 1,200 words about the and you can get as detailed as you want, and it says sure, and it spits it out. This is okay. Here we go. So it got this 6 of 6, and there's a red dot. When it's 1 of 6, is the green dot. So now it says sorry. This conversation has reached its limit. Use the broom button to sweep this away and chat more. So there's a broom icon. If I tap it, I have to give it another prompt or question or search, not based on what I just asked it.
A different one.
Continue.
Okay, see,
I
no.
want to screenshot that because I wanted to save it.
Okay, no.
Because that's not what we were told we could use it for. We got search engines. We don't need search engines.
Right.
And so there's so when Google puts Bard in theirs, it's going to be a whole different matter.
Yes, because they're looking at what's going on with ChatGPT and Bing and Jasper AI and all the other.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Okay, so Mark said, I don't want to speak out of turn, but word on the street is that Bing is not fond of you ladies either.
I don't like you, Bing.
No.
And then Carlos
says, I'm playing with Siri Plus, which is Chat GPT on iPhone through Siri.
Really?
Okay. So that's the thing, Carlos?
Yeah, let me look at
that. Me too. I was like, wait.
I saw him in the chat. I'm like, what is Siri Plus?
Yes, Carlos, you need to tell us, do you want to come on on the Clubhouse and tell us where we can find Siri Plus?
Yeah, switch on over there and tell us.
Unless he's joking.
Oh, is he joking?
I don't know. Carlos, are you
Carlos,
joking?
you got us all excited. I'm getting ready to
I'm
pick up
getting
my
ready to
phone.
ask my phone.
Fran can do it while I'm talking, so I'm going to move on. She's going to look at it. So I'm going to move on to Microsoft since we're talking about that.
Okay.
Microsoft now lets you change Bing's chatbot personality to be
Oh,
more
that's the thing.
entertaining. I still don't want it. Microsoft has restricted Bing AI in recent days after these wild responses from Dark Bing. That's what I call it. They have a new toggle that lets the chatbot get more creative once again. So they're saying that it lets you toggle between different tones for responses. That's what I just saw. It still didn't help me. I saw that. So there are three options for the AI-powered chatbot's responses: creative, balanced, and precise. I saw that when I went in because that wasn't there when I tried it earlier this week. So the creative mode includes responses that are original and imaginative, whereas the precise mode favors accuracy and relevancy for more factual and concise answers, and that's what it told me on the button. Now, Microsoft has set the default for the Bing chatbot to the balance mode. So they want to strike a balance between accuracy and creativity. So they're saying the new chat modes are rolling out to Bing AI users. Yeah, so I saw that. I don't really care. So the update includes a significant reduction in cases where Bing refuses to reply for no apparent reason. This is from the head of web services at Microsoft. It should also mean reduced instances of hallucination in answers. So hopefully the Bing chatbot produces less wild responses. So hallucination is a term with generative AI where the AI bot will make up stuff because it wants to give you an answer because you're giving it command. So it had to give you an answer. So in some instances, I'm not sure how, but it gives you some real stuff and then some fanciful stuff. And they call that they call that the chatbot is hallucinating, which is not really. It's just, trying to make something out of nothing.
It's
Does
tripping.
that make sense?
Yeah. To me, I just don't. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that Bing took the cheap way out. They didn't have to fix anything. They just limited what they were already offering, and and alleged that it's a GPT thing.
So here's what I think Microsoft did. Like Microsoft's been working on this for a while, so they know,
Mhm.
oh, we got this new thing, and we're going to be a part of it. And then Chat GPT came out last year, and it just took off like wildfire. And then Microsoft was back there rubbing their hands, going, "Ooh, wait till they see our Bing. Wait till we're going to get more of the search engine market, and people are just going to love us." And then they released it in the wild, and people took that thing and it's like a kid, playing, getting in the cabin and throwing. Because you think, okay, baby, sit on the floor while I cook, and you give the baby a pot and a pan, and you think they're just gonna. Now that baby crawling all over the floor, getting into the cabinets, throwing the flour around. So that's what happened. That's what happened. Microsoft thought, okay, people are going to test this and it's just going to be this. And when you get out in the wild and people test stuff like this, they rip it up, tear it up, right?
They're testing it.
Yes, that's what a baby, you don't know what a baby, put the baby on the floor, you think it's going to crawl in a straight line. No, baby goes where it wants to go. So being where it wanted to go, Microsoft said, whoa, wait a minute. This thing is going crazy. Let's roll it back and put the baby gate and put it in the baby playpen so it doesn't go out too far and destruct things in the house. So that's really what happened here. So Microsoft wanted to be first out of the gate, rushing out with this cool thing and thinking, oh, it's going to be great. And and now, like we said, because I was mad at first with Google. I'm like, why isn't Google out front? They don't have to be out front. Like we said earlier, they're sitting back, looking at all the mistakes, looking at everything that's happening, and then they're gonna come in and say, "We got the tool that's gonna fix that, and that, and we're gonna integrate it." Carlos says, "Let me bring up Carlos."
Great success.
Carlos says it's like when I bought a bird and left it out in a cage fly. Yes.
Next, for example, hey Siri, what is the weather like today? Currently cloudy and 55 degrees.
Okay.
Starting tonight, temperatures will be fairly consistent, averaging about 55 degrees.
Okay, so who's talking to Miss S? Okay, because I was like, he talking and that got my thing talking and everything. I was like,
did y'all find the Siri thing?
I did.
So this is going to be interesting to see what happens when it comes to, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing weather, but I'm also thinking meteorologists and weather people. Now, Chat GPT or any of these AI, they cannot look at, they can probably look at weather patterns and predict the same way a meteorologist would, in a sense. But I'm wondering that's going to do to weather segments on news. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, will they have to do the regular work to get us the weather, or
will they just let this AI tell us what the weather is going to be, for rather than have a personality that's been doing it for years?
Right. So, Carlos, you threw this thing up in here, and then tell us. I saw an article from a blog from the Mac Observer that says that you can create a Siri GPT, and by putting the AI, you're going to be using this Chat GPT, but you're going to use the Siri shortcut.
The shortcuts. Mm-hmm.
Right. And you need the AI, what is it? No, not the AI, API key to do some stuff.
Right.
So I'll have to it's going to take a minute to.
Interesting. Okay.
To put it on there.
Carlos says, my Siri knows what time and day I will die.
Have mercy.
Okay, one more thing about Microsoft and Bing. Microsoft has brought its new AI-powered Bing to the Windows 11 taskbar. So if you're using Windows, there's a Windows 11 update that includes a phone link for iOS, a touch-optimized taskbar, and it has an AI-powered Bing search on the taskbar. So it's quick access to the new Bing chat feature alongside a bunch of new features. So a new Bing icon will appear within the search box in the taskbar, and so the answers won't be available directly within the search flyout. Windows 11 users will be able to quickly start a Bing chat in Edge from that spot, providing they have access to the Bing preview. Here's some stats. More than 1 million people are now testing the new Bing preview in 169 countries. And Microsoft recently opened the preview up to mobile users and integrated it into Skype conversations.
But it's just a search tool. It is
but
not.
Bing was always search.
Yes, but it's still search, and it's still not any different. Okay, it's just getting a little closer to what we get with Google.
Okay, so the thing is, you have to recognize what each tool is. So Bing started out as a search engine. They didn't rewrite it. They just hooked the API from ChatGPT to it. That's all they did. They just hooked it. That's what Snap is doing. Snapchat Plus is hooking ChatGPT, OpenAI tool, using an API to Snapchat. So any other app or platform that wants it, they get the API and they get the hookup to it. So whatever it is originally will still stay that. So Snap is still Snap. It just has that feature. Bing is still a search engine. It just has that feature.
But it's not doing, that feature is not doing anything.
Because they've limited it. Because Microsoft says, okay, people went crazy with it. The baby, and I gave you the baby analogy, and they were like, "Whoa, put the baby in the pan." They put the baby in the little playpen.
Well, they can't trust us to behave.
Now the baby can't do much unless you put the tools in there. So I'm like, I don't want that. I got ChatGPT. I got unrestricted access.
Right. I was like,
and as long as I know the right prompt, I can get what I want.
Okay.
Okay. So ChatGPT is not a search engine. It is a new tool, new AI, generative AI tool. Bing is limited by the search engine. That's why it gave me those search engine answers. Like, okay, I could do that on Google. So now we got to wait and see what Google gives us, which I don't know when that's going to be.
Well, see, Google waited and let them have the faux pas.
Yes, because at the beginning it was like, oh, Microsoft versus Google, and Google got egg on his face, and Google lost 100 billion in stock, but it went back up. They lost, and they're falling flat in their face. Ha ha ha. Now here we are weeks later, and people are like, Microsoft didn't do that well. That you know, it's not the Chat GPT guys and gals and people. If you use that and then you go to Bing, you're not gonna like it.
I'm not going to Bing to find out. So TJ, thank you for taking the
see, I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. I get paid to do this, to investigate and look at the new software and write the specs and write the course and do this and do that. So I'm used to going in and like, what's that? Let me get in and let me go. So I will do that. So now I'm telling you, I'm like, I really didn't use Bing before, didn't even recognize the thing, didn't care about it. They put this API with it. I was like, let me try it.
You know what they, okay, Carlos is a comment. He says, I have a T1000 HAL, Wall-E, Samantha Cortana AI. You know what they need to bring back for all it does is flush my toilet. Okay.
Not the Clippy.
I was gonna say Clippy. They need to bring Clippy back. If they're gonna bring something back, bring Clippy back, man.
Okay, so is everybody clear for now on Chat GPT and Bing? And it's they're going to be more Snapchat pluses. They're going to be more your favorite tool that you use to do XYZ. And I think I mentioned this last week. Notion. If you use Notion, it's in there. And then I think it gave me like 10 or 20 free things to do with Ask AI, and after that it said you used it up, now you got to pay for Notion Premium or whatever it is. I'm like, no thanks. Okay, I already got ChatGPT.
So technically Bing is just still a search engine is still a search engine.
Yes.
And then
this is right. So now you see with Snapchat, did Snapchat turn into something different? No, it's still Snapchat. They're just adding something in that's cool, and they're adding it to their arsenal.
But they ain't teaching us how to use the arsenal in it.
Well, pretty much they were saying that the guy that wrote the Verge article was saying that there was no explanation about how to use the My AI because they're assuming that you're already familiar with it from Bing or ChatGPT or Jasper or one of these other things.
Okay. So
and Snapchat is known for not giving instructions. When Snapchat first came out, the only people that could figure it out was Gen Z because they intuitively knew how to navigate. And we're like,
play with it, yeah.
If you're a certain age, you go, well, tell me what to do. Which way to swipe left, which way to do up. But those kids knew how to do it. So Snapchat is already known for not giving out instructions. They don't give out instructions because the kids know what to do.
It's like when you get instructions to put together some furniture and they give you some pictures and you're like, what is it?
Right. So so Notion has AI. Canva, we forgot. Canva tells Magic Write. It says in the little box says write blah 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 blah, and you write blah 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 blah, and it gives it to you. Notion has the same thing. Use Notion AI. Snapchat Plus has the My AI integrated with it, and then Bing, the search engine, saying we got the Chat GPT. I'm like, no, you don't. You got something that you made and I don't like. So I never liked you, Bing.
And now we still don't like you.
So I can forget about you, Bing. I'm waiting on Google. All right, so that's the talk for Chat GPT today. Let's move on to. Let's move on. Is there anything? Let me see. Not much this week. It was a lot last week. I'm gonna save TikTok for last. Oh, Instagram. Instagram expands age verification tools to more regions, and they're expanding an Instagram age verification test in Mexico, Canada, South Korea, Australia, Japan, more countries in Europe. This age verification process requires users to verify their stated age by using one of three options: upload their government ID, record a video selfie, ask mutual friends to verify their age. So they're expanding. Is it a test or is it? Well, it's kind of like a test. And let me see. So Snapchat. I think I have one more thing before TikTok. Oh yeah, a little thing about Pinterest. Pinterest has released. I need to look at this. Pinterest released a 2023 trends report. This is important because they released it in other years, and they're saying like 80% of the trends from last year came true. So they have a Pinterest predicts 2023 report that is full of insights that can help influencers and brands stay ahead of the curve and connect with their audiences. Last year, 80% of Pinterest predictions for 2022 were correct. This information is crucial for influencers and brands who want to stay on trends, because trends change on social media a lot. You're looking at doing something and like, wait a minute, let me check and make sure, is this what everybody else is doing? So this is important for influencers and brands. And we can look as business owners, we can look at it just to see, well, what are the style of things that are happening? What's the style of posts? What kind of videos and shorts and reels they're doing? That might be interesting for that. So I was going to take a look at it.
Before you jump over to there, I got something from Meta because I'm following Zuck's channel, which, by the way, I still don't have the channel feature, but okay. They said this has got something to do with VR and the metaverse. They said we are lowering the price of our leading VR headsets, the Quest Pro, to $999. Okay. Now that Quest Pro was at $1.1499. And then the Quest 2, 256 gigs, is now $429. So more people can get into VR.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Carlos said, did you learn about Ford's AI that will drive the car to home base when you don't pay the bill? You laugh. That might be a prediction.
Mm.
You don't pay the car note, and the car just said,
yeah, instead of them, sending the tow truck to come get it.
The repo
they
guy
just go in
now.
there. Okay, because this is really not too far off, because if you have what was used to be called a low jack on the car, where they could come and find out where the car is or whatever, right? Carlos said this is true and not a joke.
Self-repo, huh? Okay.
Wow. Okay.
But why would they not put something in the newer cars? Because they already have a thing about hackers hijacking the computers in the cars.
Right. No, that's good.
Okay, so I'm looking over here on Fox Business for this whole Ford thing. This Ford applies a patent that allows cars to self-repossess.
Wow.
It says Ford has reportedly applied for a patent on a system designed to try and get people to clear up late car payments, according to Detroit Free Press. It could lead to cars driving themselves to repo lots. It's freaky.
Wow.
Ford Global Technologies filed a patent application with the U.S. Trademark and Patent Office August 2021, which was released recently for public view.
Okay, Dr. Tachi, what did you say?
So they can do all of that, but they don't have a proper self-driving mode. When I'm sorry, I don't get that. Penny wise, pound foolish. And well, for them, it's not penny wise, pound foolish, because their only goal is in getting, these payments. But I'm like, but what about innovation? If you can do that, it's short-sighted, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, that goes into what I think we said last week or the week before about the corporation only goal is to service the shareholders by making revenue. Everything else is secondary. I mean, the businesses that survive today will concern themselves with that and with bettering society or making people better or whatever. Those will flourish, but the ones right now are, the corporation that like we are beholden to our shareholders and we must, there must be dividends. So that's what they care about, and everything else they're like whatever, and that's
Okay,
not
well,
the way to be.
I got a few more comments
Go ahead.
from this article. It says other strategies that could be used to encourage payment would be sending reminder messages and warnings from lending institutions to smartphones. After a prolonged period of non-payment, the car may, and we've seen this, may disable features such as window or seat controls, but check this out: GPS and radio signals. So your phone's not going to work. Your GPS is going to be
Wow.
jacked up. This
Wow.
sounds dangerous to me.
Wow.
Well, this is the whole thing. This is a whole circular thing, because if you look at it now, granted, not everybody lives in coastal cities or major cities. In fact, the vast majority of the U.S. is really rural. If you think about it, outside of the heavily developed cities, a lot of it is rural and country. If you think about it,
Right.
and then in the middle of the country, desert. So I understand not everyone lives where there is a major transportation, but I mean, this is really that type of thing is really the case for developing better public transportation systems. Of course,
Right.
we have these the automakers, the oil industry, etc., that rally against that happening, because that means no money for them. But that really is a case to start to develop better public transportation systems in cities around the country because of things like that. It's like because here's the thing. People don't pay because they don't not pay because they don't want to pay. Who wants that? It's humiliating can you imagine if your car just drives away? What kind of rubbish is that? That's actually humiliating. And if you think about it, people do need cars, but there's an awful lot of pressure, sales pressure, etc., to get people to buy automobiles. So
Right.
making the decision on their own. Let's be clear. There is psychological pressure, peer pressure, etc., and pressure of living where there is no public transportation to have something that can take you. So it's not a solo decision. So before they start doing these types of things to humiliate people, how about looking at the role you had in them in the first place? That's just a thought.
Right. And I agree with that about, and see, this is the thing where President Biden is trying to get the infrastructure thing going, and there's the pushback on it because, like you said, there's a need for infrastructure, and that means public transportation. Areas that don't have it need it. So then you don't need the car. But see, then there's the pushback from automobile industry going, well, we need people to buy these doggone cars. So if you give them reliable transportation, public transportation, or have a system, they're not going to want the car. And that's not true. People are going to want cars because, a myriad of reasons. But for those who say, well, I don't want to do that, we need public infrastructure where there is that kind of public transportation. So you're right. You're
Well,
right.
you realize the average car payment is now $777.
Yeah, I heard that.
And now you got insurance on top of that. That's
crazy.
Why I'm keeping the car that I had that is 20 years old and paid off.
Exactly. As long as it's running.
That's all we need. Beverly says, at the end of the day, money comes from the customers.
Right. I agree with that. But I'm saying in the corporation's mind, they don't care about the customer. Customer's at the bottom of the pyramid.
Right.
At the top, shareholders.
Yep.
That's it. Not saying that's right. I'm saying that's how they think. That's how they think. So yes, you would think, thinking about the customer comes first, but no, we're at the bottom. And you could see it just by looking at different the business news and how this Amazon says this and does that. Look at any of the corporations and see how they treat us. but the money comes from us, right?
Right. Beverly says that maybe why so many are no longer around. Talking about corporations.
Yes, agree. I agree with that too. That's what I'm saying. The smart business, the smart corporation will go, hey, wait a minute. There's a way to make money and satisfy the shareholders and stay in business and make a profit and make sure the customer is happy, but they're not doing that. Short-sighted.
Carlos says, I love cranking my engine on in the morning.
See? And he's in an area where there's tons of public transportation.
Right.
You would think in like New York area that nobody wants a car. There are cars all over this place.
Right. Mark says, I have not had a car in decades. I am a public transportation, cab, Lyft. I don't know what stand.
Like that's what he loves.
Okay. Of course, I live in a large city.
Again, here's another example of cities that have mass transit, public transportation that works and reliable. People still buy cars because they want to live, or not live. They may live outside or want to drive into the city, or may have a job outside of the city. They need a car, or they just want to, like here in New York, when we want to shop, we go out to Jersey or we go to upstate or whatever just to shop because of the experience of getting out of the city. So people will buy a car for that. It's not just because, well, there's a train that can take me. Maybe I don't want to do that. So the options are there. I don't know why they have this thought that if they build more public transportation, reliable mass transportation in rural areas, that will make people stop buying cars. No, because cars is more about the look and feel and emotional and this is what I can afford versus a transportation A to B kind of thing with some people, not everybody, some people.
Carlos says I will never use public transportation ever again, and I live in New York City.
And then it's about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One other part of his comment: can't watch kids surfing on the roof on the trains and dying.
Yeah, I thought that would go away real quick. My nephew had, when he was a kid, he had his best friend died like that. The kids get on top of the trains and surf it. I don't know why. That was like 20 something years ago, and they're still doing stories are still now where the kids are getting on the trains and riding the trains. I don't understand it.
Thing I've ever heard of, but we can't fix
homelessness, Yes, yes. Yeah.
There's nothing we could do about that. It's ridiculous. But, by and large, if you look at the U.S. is so far behind the times when it comes to moving people from point A to B. This is the only place where the bottom line is considered as to whether or not people deserve to get someplace. It makes no sense. If you look at Asia, if you look at Europe, they all have thriving public transportation systems.
Yes.
The majority of people are not, using cars. I look at space, look at the expense, etc. But it really is an issue of the greatest good for all, as opposed to just the bottom line of one company. So the thing is, you would throw away everybody just so you can make 10 pence off of your cars. That's very selfish attitude, and that's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that government upholds that selfishness through things like tax breaks, etc. Obvious, oil and gas industry, auto industry, they continue to lobby.
Yeah.
So that we don't get things. Why would you go against the masses? That doesn't make any sense. This is the only place where we go against ourselves. And look at it, think about this. You also want to be cities where you can gain money through things like tourism and whatever. Well, if people can't get around because I have to spend $50 on an Uber back and forth, that's some place I'm not going to go because I have to factor that into my vacation as well. So these are things that you need to think about, but they don't. So I'll keep quiet.
No, you're right, Dr. Tachi, you're right. And you see it if you watch the news, which I don't. You see it now with our current government where things don't get done because of XYZ, because one is fighting against the other, or they got an agenda. They all have the agenda called greed.
Yeah.
That's the agenda they have. And that's why every year we say it's important to vote, not just presidential elect. Don't vote every 4. You have to vote for your local government. who your governor is important. Look at Florida. Who your governor is very important. Who
They
your
have a lot
mayor
of
is.
power.
Yes, who
They
your
have a lot of
mayor
power.
is. This guy is trying to ban all kind of stuff.
Dr. Tachi said,
And one thing about Florida, I know that
people in your state. we do not. So I mean, asking really, it's really for real. People are like, is it asking too much? Yes, it is. A Floridians. I'm sorry. That don't come after me. But there are a lot who are not very forward thinking, don't have good critical thinking skills, and will vote the first thing on wheels in.
Yep.
And we also have a lot of, I mean, Terry knows this, I said this, they call it the sixth borough. But you have people, when you're coming down to either retire, you don't care about the local politics at all. You are not, because your job is to get there and parlay. And so you don't get as involved. And you would think, because we have so many New Yorkers there, that there would be this push for, let's have some public transport. They don't care because they're done with that life. So they're like, I don't care. I've just tried to, coast or whatever. So you don't have a populace that's very involved in local politics in any real way. And I can't say that for everybody. And I can't say that that's not the case in other states and cities. Yeah, it is. But you see it a lot there. So yeah, we are asking too much, Terry, of them.
And there's a couple things I heard and read that I have to investigate more, but there was one that somebody in Congress wanted to have it restricted if you move from like New York to Florida, that you can't vote for 5 years. I heard that craziness.
What kind of stupidity is that?
It's to keep people from, say, blue states moving to red states to changing the red
Turning
states.
them purple.
I heard this is what I heard. I haven't read the story. Just things that
I don't know. Is that legal?
It's
it ain't legal, but they
what they want to do. The people, some of the people in Congress. I just heard it. I haven't.
What happened to one man, one vote? Okay.
Another thing, and this is what I heard about Florida, that they want to put a law in to find bloggers who talk about the government, who write stories. I got to look at that too. Those are two things that I heard, that they want to find them in Florida. If a blogger talks about a political person.
Oh yes, I heard that this morning.
So all right, okay.
So so Beverly had a couple of comments here. She says, I've taken public transportation, and she uses it now. Using public transportation won't affect buying a car. And she says, in many cases, public transportation is a major inconvenience. And many employers offer free public transportation passes monthly. So true, the case with Florida. Participation is random, and I know from activism and canvassing.
Okay.
He knows from activation and activism and canvassing.
But see, that might be the benefit of saying moving from a blue state to a red state. And the other side recognizes that change, that the state might become purple or even blue. So that's why I hear these things about they're trying to propose somebody. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was one of the off mind ones out. I was gonna be nice that are proposing that because they see what's happening. That I moved from New York to another state in the South, and I'm going to affect change there. With because more
ballot box,
right, with voting in local government.
Well, all you have to do is, and sorry to interrupt, is look at Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Atlanta is a spot within a very, within Georgia. But if you look at who's moving to Atlanta because of the housing prices, because of course, warmer weather and those types of things, you have that. And that is what attracts people from, northern states there, because you're going to spend much less than if you go to New York. You get much more for your money there. And so that is, Atlanta itself has become a haven, because what's the first thing people, even like when I was like in grad school, the first thing, I'm moving to Atlanta. And that was a lot of people's thing, that they were moving to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And that's why there's this joke now. They're like, no, we're full. There's no more.
And the same thing is happening in Texas, in Tennessee, around Nashville,
Charlotte,
all of that. So
let
this
me
is
give.
a concern.
Well, okay. Well, change happens, people. Change happens.
Yes. And you
Uh,
don't have to be the majority. You just need to be the part that tips the scale.
right. Mark says that's what I love about car sharing. With that availability, you can take your trips out to the burbs without the expense of parking, insurance,
Right.
maintenance, car payments, and etc.
Right.
And then uh, it
Oh,
must
they're
be
talking
okay.
about in
Got
Florida.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says somehow Tati has managed to escape the brain fry that seems to come from the Florida residency. Uh, and Carlos says my daughter is always dealing with daily train breakdowns,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Yeah.
says I miss Atlanta, so modern. Most people are from New York.
Yeah.
He says, why am my little clicker not working? I moved back to New York City, but I hate it here. We'll go back to Atlanta soon. And he said, I can't move to Florida, no books there.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I call it. You have the northern mentality, and you move to a southern state or a western state where things are different. You want to change it because you're used to, what's going on there government wise. And then, like I said, I heard this story about. I don't think they can do it. You can't restrict somebody from not voting for 5 years or some craziness that they want to do. But that's the crazy in government now. So we gotta affect change by voting, being aware. You don't have to protest, but at least vote locally.
Mhm.
Every year there's an election for something where you are, mayor, whatever. So vote, sheriff. All those things matter. Okay,
They indeed do.
we're gonna put a pin on the politics and move on. Just TikTok is left, so let's talk about TikTok. They have a TikTok has set a new default screen time limit for teen users. So they're facing TikTok is facing calls to better protect young people online. So this change is meant to help teens limit their screen time and be more intentional about how much of their day spent on TikTok. This is what TikTok is saying. We believe digital experiences should bring joy and play a positive role in how people express themselves, discover ideas, and connect. That's the TikTok's head of trust and safety. So what's going to happen? TikTok users under 18 will now automatically have a 60-minute daily screen time limit. They can continue using the app if they enter a passcode, but TikTok says that forces users to make an active decision to extend that time. Users under 13, why are they there? I thought the limit was 13. Users under 13 will also have a 60-minute daily limit, and a parent or guardian can enter a passcode that extends their daily usage for another half hour. TikTok will send every teen account a weekly recap of their screen time, and it will prompt teen users who spend more than 100 minutes on the app to set a daily limit. So that's what's going on with them. But people are gonna lie, the kids are gonna lie about their age. And then if they're under 13, why are they on TikTok?
I was getting ready to say, okay,
You're supposed to be 13.
but they know, but TikTok knows this.
Okay,
Thus,
so
another
we talked about this. What if I'm under 13 and I want to get on TikTok? I can go in and make a birthday that says I'm 14, right?
right.
Who's checking that?
So, okay, so they can lie on an app, and but here's the thing: the TikTok knows that they are under 13. Some kind of way they know that they're under 13, or
Right.
else they wouldn't put it
Why?
anywhere.
Well, if the limit is 13, why are they on? Under 13, why are they on? So that just was crazy to me. So
Well, I'm following India and some other people. I have taken the app off my phones.
me too. I haven't used it. But you can get TikTok online, but still I haven't clicked on anything. All right, so here's the last thing from TikTok. US House panel approves the bill giving President Biden power to ban TikTok. And I put this on my stories with a little poll, and I got to check the answers. So this week, the House Foreign Affairs Committee voted to approve a bill that would give President Biden authority to ban TikTok in the U.S. So they had a vote and they approved the measure. So this is to oh wait, hold on. So here's what one of the people in Congress said: TikTok is a national security threat. It is time to act. That was the Republican chair of the committee who sponsored the bill. The bill does not precisely specify how the ban would work, but gives Biden the power to ban any transactions with TikTok, which in turn could prevent anyone in the United States from accessing or downloading the app on their phone. The bill would also require Biden to impose a ban on any entity that may transfer sensitive personal data to an entity subject to the influence of China. Also, White House has given government agencies 30 days to ensure that TikTok is not on any federal devices and systems. Now, this bill that they propose will need to be passed by the full House and the U.S. Senate before it goes to Biden.
Okay, I don't want to go down this hole because it is so political. Did I hear a paragraph in there that gives him the authority to ban anything that transmits
To China.
to a possible
China.
enemy?
To China.
Transfer sensitive personal data to China. Why would we want to do that? Of course, we want to stop that.
I'm talking.
We don't want China to. They're already sending the balloons over here. We just found that out.
Well, let's just float that.
Oh, the balloons. Wow.
The spy
My
balloons.
question is not within this bill. What I heard was a paragraph there that would give the president of the United States the opportunity to ban anything that they think. Now, don't forget this Florida president that they think could possibly be an issue with China. So now, can we do any commerce? You know, I mean, you got to be careful when you start burning books. Okay.
See, let me say this real quick because I hear this a lot. People go, "Oh, well, what about Facebook? What about Instagram? What about Pinterest? Blah blah blah." Those are all American-owned companies in the story. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, was owned by China, which China has a government known that they look at they demand whatever they want from any company.
Any of that, TJ. I don't have a problem with.
I understand, but somebody might.
I have a problem with that language.
Yes, but so.
Well, see, that's not the language from the bill. That's from the story. So I don't know what the language is.
Okay.
It's not a bill yet. It has to get passed by the House and the Senate, and it has to go to Biden. None of that stuff has happened yet.
Okay.
Okay. You remember the bill, Schoolhouse Rock?
Yeah.
Just the bill.
Bill sitting on Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
so this is the bill sitting on Capitol Hill.
Right. So Carlos says yes, but TikTok wants a DNA sample. TikTok needs to get banned. And then he says also CapCut is owned by the same TikTok
Get rid of CapCut. Get rid of that. If you got rid of TikTok, get rid of CapCut. I did the same.
What is CapCut?
CapCut is an app that's on your phone that's connected to TikTok that lets you edit further the videos, like put in captions and stuff.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And people needed to know that because I didn't have CapCut.
If you never use CapCut, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. But CapCut is also ByteDance, and it needs
to be. It's owned by, I think it's owned by Bank. Right. So a lot of your TikTok influencers use it to do all those cool things, and everybody was like, "Oh, I want to do that." So they did that. Now I want to go into my I'm trying to find my stories.
Dr. Kaki, you were saying something while TJ is digging up her story.
I was agreeing. I think that this would be to do some CapCut alternatives because it's an editing tool. But I think that people, they're like, okay, well, what am I going to use? They like the tools inside TikTok. They like CapCut, but there are other things to do. First of all, people should not put all of their eggs in one TikTok basket anyway. So you need to have a couple of different alternatives just in case it goes away.
Oh, right. We've been saying that.
There's more than one type of screwdriver, people.
Yeah. And one of them has become obsolete now.
Right. Real quick, I did it on my stories. It said, will Biden ban TikTok? Yes. 33%, no, 67%. And I agree. Biden will not ban TikTok. There won't be a ban at all. I think I said this at the beginning when we first started about TikTok last year. TikTok just won't be available to download. There won't be a ban.
Right.
Biden's not going to ban it. He's not going to ban it because one, this is going to anger Gen Z voters, blah blah blah, and all. We got into politics.
Look.
Two, there is no precedent for this. Trump tried it; it didn't work. This will not happen. Biden will not ban. What will happen is the Foreign Affairs Committee may suggest to Google and Apple to remove it from the App Store. That is not a ban. That is a removal from the App Store. It may happen publicly. It may not. It may happen behind the scenes. You might go to App Store and it might not be there. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, I can't update my blah, 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 blah.
That's what's going to happen. Biden will not ban it. This is a political football. The other side wants him to do it because then that is a negative reaction.
Right.
And he's not going to do it.
But there will be some suggestions at the dinner table.
Right. Now, I don't know everything. I'm just saying based on what I know, that I don't think it's never been done before. There's politics involved. He might not want to do that. The blowback will be horrific. This is what the other side wants. What will happen is a general suggestion to Tim Cook and what's his name, Sergey something.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to remove this because of the findings from the Foreign Affairs Committee, blah 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 blah, stuff that we don't know, that they know.
And last week we talked about the EU banned it.
Yes,
the EU banned it. They were like, look, no, you can't have it on anything over here, different EU companies. And then TikTok was like, well, you should have given us an opportunity. You should have told us that you were going to do.
Oh, they're so innocent. That spokesperson, they're so innocent. They put all these, but why are you picking on us? Because and I think there was a comment somewhere. I didn't save it. And I was like, get out of here. I think it was a tweet or something. But this is what's going to happen. If 45 couldn't ban it, Biden's not going to ban it. It's not going to be banned. Like an official, the president has banned. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is not going to be available in the store.
Right. And Carlos says, what happened to that video game that they wanted to get paid apart from the Apple Store?
Yeah, what happened to that? I forgot what.
Okay, but we don't know where they are.
What, Fortnite?
No, it wasn't Fortnite. It was something else.
Thank you, Mark. Read Mark's comment. Thank you. Mark always brings the comments, Mark. Thank you.
Mark says one would think that some brilliant developer could come up with a way that TikTok can still function while restricting its capabilities to retrieve unnecessary info.
Why this cannot happen is because ByteDance is owned by China. China is not going to give that to anyone outside of China.
Oh, Carlos said yes, Fortnite.
Yeah,
because I thought this.
They took it out the App Store for a while because they didn't want to pay Apple.
Yeah, there was something about a fee, something about fees or something. I have to look it up.
Now, you know, Apple going to turn it off because of your fee. You don't want to pay the fee. Okay, no problem. And how are you going to get it? Is it still in the Google Play Store? Or,
I think they settled that, didn't they?
Here's my thing. Carlos says it seems like it's gone because it's not in the
not there
App Store. But here's the thing: why would you shoot yourself in the foot and then not pay the fee? I know you want more money. You getting a lot of money for them kids buying stuff.
Yeah, you got the golden goose,
and you just now cooked your golden goose.
Okay. Yeah, it's not there. I typed in Fortnite, it's not there. But there's the other Fortnite style game. See, this is the deal. People don't realize mobile is it. If you're not on a phone, you're not gonna make it. And I know why I know this is real quick because of Spoutable. I talked about Spoutable, the new Twitter alternative. It is web-based only. Every day there are cries. Where is it in the App Store? I can't find it. Where is the app? Where is the app? Where is the app? And then we say go to spoutable.com and use it in the browser until the app is ready. They don't want to do that. They want the app. So the app is coming out this month because of demand for the app. Once that happens, then you're going to be hearing more about Spoutable. That's what's going to happen. But you have to be you have to be on the phone. You have to be in the Play Store and the App Store.
Right.
And if TikTok's not there, it's not there. Look at India. It's not there. It's gone. So.
And see, they got dances from Fortnite and all of that, but the Fortnite is not in this Apple store.
Right. So there we have it.
Yeah, Carlos says all apps pay 30% unless it's free. So fix your financing. If you're gonna go in the Apple store, you go in knowing that this is what they're gonna charge.
This is what they want. The cost of doing business with Apple is
30%.
Yes. And you either do it or you go, well, I'm going to try something else and let's see how it goes.
And now we have crickets from Fortnite. And now Fortnite had the lock on video games.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And they're the ones that started the skins and all of that stuff. So
wow. Okay. Well, that's all I have for this week. So
Dr. Tachi is in the house. So glad to have you back.
Thank you so much. How's everybody doing?
We are well.
We got the 3 again.
Okay, so Mediascope is actually coming back next week, so you can look forward to more media, tech, and pop culture news next week. But for now, we're here, and let's start with Aussie Media. Okay, so I think we all know about the founder Carlos Watson and Aussie Media.
Yes, but give everybody a little background though.
Hold on a minute. I'm sorry.
No worries.
We
have a comment here from Carlos while you're pulling that up. Oh, there it is. Carlos says Europe is forcing Apple to offer multiple app stores.
Really? Probably depending on their EU guidelines for because they got different guidelines and the privacy issues than we have.
Right. They're more strict with their privacy issues. Right. Which is why I can see why they told TikTok to take a hike because the what was that? What is that new thing they have? What is their oh my gosh, what is their
policy? You mean
GDP? What is their policy? GDP compliant?
Yes, GDP.
Right. They like no. So
yeah, they wrote their rules and they're sticking by them over there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We're still there? Okay, yeah. All right. So what were you saying, Terry? Go back.
I know a little bit about the Aussie Media, but everybody may not. So just a little.
Okay, so Aussie Media was a media company, and it was a fast-growing media company. And here's the thing: the charges against them are actually between 2018 and 2021, and it accuses their executives. Watson, Carlos Watson, and in addition to Samir Rao and Susie Han of lying about how well they were doing financially, lying about celebrity endorsements and investments, and they even went so far as to impersonate media executives like on earnings calls and instructing employees to create fake documents to pass the due diligence process. So that's the big thing. That's the big thing there. So, of course, he did a media, it wasn't even an apology tour because he was like Carlos Watson. He wasn't really apologizing for it. He was like, look, we didn't do it. Basically vehemently against all of this. Okay. Right. Howsoever, they've been shut down because, they have been shut down. So Wednesday, which was just 2 days ago, they said they were suspending operations after Carlos Watson was indicted on federal fraud charges. And so in a tweet, which I don't know why that has become the norm, but now everybody announces things. If you're not doing a blog post on Medium, you're doing a tweet to announce your official company. I don't get it. What happened to the press release? What happened to all of that?
Exactly.
Right? To me, that just seems like the epitome of lazy. But anyway, you could do it in addition to official things. But to me, the Medium blog post and tweets have become the official way to let people know what's going on with your company. So they said this: in light of its current operational and legal challenges, the Aussie board has determined that it's in its best interest of the stakeholders to suspend operations immediately. And they did this in a tweet on March 1st, which was just 2 days ago. So this federal indictment against Watson basically reveals how he and his partners forged documents, faked financials, and impersonated media executives to enrich themselves while keeping the struggling company afloat. This is according to the Wrap. Doesn't this sound familiar? Remember Madoff, Bernie Madoff?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So
Ponzi
not
scheme?
exactly the same thing, but it's very Ponzi scheme-ish. So it's not exactly the same thing, but it has the feel of it. So arrested and indicted by federal authorities last week on charges of securities and wire fraud, and he faces a minimum sentence of 2 years and a maximum of 37 years in prison if he is convicted. So according to the charging document, he told potential investors that Aussie had doubled its revenues from 2016 to 2017 from approximately 6 million in 2016 to 12 million in 2017. But in reality, Aussie's revenue was flat in 2017 and totaled less than 7 million. And he also represented to investors and potential investors that the company would approximately double its revenue again in 2018 and achieve a revenue of 22 million. And at the end of 2018 and early 2019, he, Watson, and others allegedly sent numerous emails falsely representing that Aussie had hit that target. You know what? If we all tried to do this, it would never work. In what world do these executives think that this works? Anyway.
Yeah, and he really messed up because you're walking a fine line with finance and investment and the Justice Department because they're real strict. They threw Martha Stewart in jail for all that, all that talk about, getting ahead. Right. So
Inside trading.
right, inside trade. They're real strict on that. Really strict. So I don't know what he was thinking, but
and it's interesting because despite all the rules and all the things that are in place, there are still people and companies that think they can get away with it. I was like,
right.
You thought nobody was going to ask to see the books? No,
Well,
I think
from when I was following it online that what he did was he went on CNBC and said this too.
Yes.
I think that's where he really messed up. Like, okay.
Like, shut up and stay at home, dude.
Yeah, shut up, dude. But he got caught.
No, exactly. He got caught. So that's what's happening. He has been indicted on securities and wire fraud, and the company is shut down. I mean, there's no money anyway, so of course the company's shut down. That's secondary to all of this. So the moral of the story is, can you just tell the truth? I mean,
okay. Evidently, it's not in style. Telling the truth is not in style. Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess orange jumpsuits are now in style for him. You like that look better? Here we go. So let's talk a little bit about Star Trek Discovery. It seems like it just started, but it's already been 4 seasons now. We are in season 5, and Star Trek Discovery is going to end in season 5. So this is a show on Paramount Plus, when it first started, I don't know if you remember, at that time, Paramount Plus was CBS All Access.
Mm-hmm.
So it started on there, and I was really excited about Star Trek. But then, I wasn't excited about the fact that you had to pay for CBS All Access. So I watched what I could when I had the free trial, and that was about it. So the premiere is being pushed to 2024. And this is the thing I hate about all these things. They stretch it out and prolong because they know because it's ending, they've got to keep you on the hook some way. So Paramount Plus they're trying to keep it's about subscribers, right? So if I'm only subscribing to Paramount Plus because I'm interested in Star Trek, right? Star Trek Discovery, they have to find a way to keep me there so that I don't just
Leave.
unsubscribe and come back, or B, let's put off the inevitable as long as we possibly can. So we're not going to do the final season this year like any normal human being should. We are going to do it next year so that we know we will have a dedicated audience of people that we know are going to watch it next year. So it's like almost putting off the inevitable.
I'm watching it next year. I'm not paying you for it while I wait.
Exactly. And that's probably what most people are going to do unless they come up with programming that is really great, that captivates this audience. You probably are going to have people that will say, okay, I'm not going to subscribe. Next year I'll do it, and then just kind of binge watch everything.
Right.
And then, what they're probably going to do with this is, they've gotten into this thing of doing a season A and season B. So if they've ordered, say, 13 episodes of this, instead of dropping all 13 episodes, first of all, they're going to give it to you week by week, drip by.
Yes,
you're not
I hate that.
Binge. And then what they may do is say, you know what? Okay, so we're premiering in February of 2024, but we're only going to do the first 6 episodes. Then we're going to take a break for like a month or two, and then we'll come back and do the remaining 7 episodes. So that's another way that all of these streamers and networks have been prolonging things, keeping kind of people on the hook, because even though you are not subscribing during the time that Star Trek Discovery is not on, you may either A, discover something else and keep subscribing, or B, we know you'll be back because of Star Trek's Discovery, but we're going to keep it as long as possible so that we know we have the possibility of you coming back. It's also a way of them spacing out their programming. So it's like, well, okay, even if the people for show A leave, we know we have people from show B coming back. So, which to me is not the best strategy, but it's a strategy.
I think they misunderstand us, because I will turn it off until like Picard is on right now, and they're doing that drip system. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna turn it off until y'all get all of Picard's out, and then I'll turn it back on, because the drip. And then the other thing is that they don't have a whole big library of stuff people want to see.
No, none of these streamers do, with the exception of Disney Plus. And Disney Plus is because they have their library of their Disney Vault, in addition to the acquisitions of Star Wars, the acquisitions of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and some other things. So that is why they even have a library as large as they do.
Right.
And then there was another acquisition they made that I can't remember. The point is they keep acquiring content. But if you look at a lot of the other streamers, think about when Netflix was the only game in town. They had licensing deals with all of these other networks, right? So it seemed like there was a lot of stuff. But when everybody takes their stuff back, it turns out that there are only a few, each network only has a few pieces of things that are any good. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So it was all aggregated in one place. So it seemed like a lot until everybody took it back. And it's like, oh, okay, CBS, you really only had 2 shows. Oh, NBC, you only really have 4 shows. So it's not as much as
right.
So now we have spread out. The ice is spread thin, right?
Right.
So I mean, that's basically the game, and that's why we're aiming with what we're doing to be very content heavy, as opposed to sparse in terms of content. And I think that's where the future is going to be in terms of places that are all in one, that are content heavy, instead of the entertainment silos that have been happening now, if that makes sense.
Right. They've been given, there's crumbs in each of these places. There's not a full cookie or a full cake. It's just crumbs. And I'm like, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that's an excellent way of putting it. Crumbs, and stale crumbs at that. They're not even delicious.
Because we got Andy Griffith and some other stuff. And I was like, come on, people, really? This is, give me something worth watching. And I haven't been able to feel good about chunking down, like even on HBO Max and some other stuff. I was like, why?
Yeah, exactly. There's, because it's like, you think, again, the shows that you love, it's like, oh, I love that, but it's like, but is it worth? It's one thing if I'm subscribing to HBO, right? Or thing in and of itself. But now that I have to pay extra for it, now you really have to say, what is there and what am I paying for? We have to consider, or we are considering, our content the same way we consider a lot of other things, particularly when it's subscription. If I'm paying for this every month, I divide the cost I'm paying by shows, am I really getting my money's worth for it? Especially when I'm also subscribing to a lot of other streamers or a lot of other services, or I'm doing a lot of other things. Because in this, it's not just about this is overall entertainment, folks. We're also looking at the things, even though, you can say that, okay, a gym membership is not necessarily entertainment, that's for health and wellness. But if you add this to your lifestyle and all the other subscriptions you may have, this can become overwhelming. And so I better see what I'm getting for my money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that's what's happening with Star Trek Discovery. It's not coming back. It's going to end in season 5, and it won't be back till 2024. And look, we're only in month 3 of 2023, so you have a while before we see any Star Trek Discovery thing. So take a look at that. And let's talk a little bit about Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, so we already know that for years, Netflix executives have been huge cheerleaders of binging, unlike the people that are giving us this drip system. It's a lot of they are fans of dropping the entire season at once and letting us choose whether we watch it week by week, take a break in between, or just sit in one sitting and watch it, which is something I love to do, which I know I shouldn't, because that means nothing else gets done. But this is something interesting. On March 4th, which is actually tomorrow, they are beginning, this is Netflix, is beginning a foray into an old format, live programming. So there's going to be a highly anticipated comedy special from Chris Rock that is going to be live. So not uploaded and then you can watch it at your leisure. And it's already happened. It is going to be happening live in the moment. Rock is going to be the first artist to perform a live comedy special on Netflix with his show titled Chris Rock, Selective Outrage. Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's a 1 hour long special, and they're anticipating it drawing large audiences to Netflix because you know what he's going to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, the slap.
That's right. He is going to talk about the slap at the Academy Awards last year. There will also be a pre-show and after-show featuring other entertainers, including Ronnie Chang, David Spade, and Dana Carvey. So Netflix's binge and burn model helped make it the biggest subscription streaming service with about 231 million paying members globally. But now the streaming market has become flooded with rival streamers, as we know, and simply a large library of shows and a slate of popular original programming that's available on demand is not enough. So Netflix is looking for ways to turn the shows into must-see events. And Netflix, remember, they're also under pressure to control the cost while still growing their businesses. or still growing the business. So this is an effort to do that type of thing. So getting into live shows is like an effort to encourage old school appointment television, right? Remember appointment television or must see TV, that whole thing. You have to be there Friday night at 8 in order to watch it, or that's just too bad. Maybe they would rerun it at some point, but you're never sure. So it's part of that effort to fend off competition and boost viewership, which I actually think is a brilliant move. They have their motto has been video on demand from the beginning. Even if you count the DVDs that you got, that's
Okay.
on demand, right?
Mhm.
But now they are like, all right, well, let's look at some other methods of delivery.
Mhm.
Everybody is doing this video on demand streaming thing. What can we do that is different from what they do?
Mm.
So that's what they're doing, and Chris Rock is going to be the first one to do it, and probably not the last. We know that this is something they're looking at doing. We're going to get more specials. We're going to get more concerts. Okay, think about that. We're going to think of any type of live event. Netflix probably is going to have their hands in it.
Mm.
And now that they're no longer opposed to advertising like they used to be, I'm sure we're going to get some sort of sponsorship, advertising, that type of thing to increase revenue. So I'm not mad at you, Netflix.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm excited about this live event feature, and having a live Chris Rock or having a live concert or whatever. I'm thinking, like, what took them so long to come up with the idea?
Exactly. And it seems to me that they should have been doing this, especially during the pandemic,
Yep.
with Swifties and Beyonce fans, and you know what I mean. We can't even get
Yeah, you can't even get
tickets
tickets for the thing. Right.
because of the bots. What
Right.
a better idea to make it, accessible.
Exactly. And you know what I also see? They're absolutely right. I also see similar in the way that YouTube partners with Coachella to live stream all of
Yes.
your stages during Coachella. I'm seeing, and that's not going to be a Coachella. I think that the beauty of YouTube for that is that you don't even have to have a subscription to YouTube. You don't even have to sign in, and you can watch YouTube. And that's the beauty of it. That's not the case with Netflix. You have to have a subscription. Right. But I see them really investing in things that are going to be attractive to subscribers. So some other similar type of music event I could see happening, similar to with the Essence Festival. The Essence Festival live streamed all of their shows on Hulu. I don't know if you all watched any.
I watched it. I was up I was up 2:00 in the morning watching Janet Jackson.
Me too. It
was good. It was so good.
It was excellent. I had never seen Janet Jackson in concert in person, and with the prices they're charging for concerts these days, I probably never will. So it was exciting to be able to see that in the comfort of your home. So Hulu had, all the people that played, but the big thing was Janet. So we got Janet Jackson. So I see Netflix taking on that same type of thing like Hulu did and partnering with, all right, well, it was such a success. Hulu's going to partner with the Essence Festival again. So Netflix is going to be looking for what is their Essence Festival? What is their Coachella? They're going to be looking for that. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I'm sorry to say, I have so many streaming services, so I dropped the Hulu. After that, I'm sorry, Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
But
Carlos,
it was a free trial.
Yes.
Well, Carlos says, I'm trying to build something similar with my connections in the music industry.
Okay. Looking forward.
We're going to be looking for that because I think too, and Carlos, you could probably co-sign on this. I think too that the future is in indie.
Yes.
The future is in independent content. The future is in content with creators that have their pulse on the finger of what is now, have been doing, like, for example, all of us that have been live streaming for donkey's years at this point, we have our finger on the pulse of what is now, not just getting into it because the pandemic happened and we had no other way to communicate. We've been doing this. So there are a lot of creators that are on the pulse of what is now. So I think that the future is indie. If I could put my, thoughts out there, that's what I'm thinking.
You're right. I agree. And you're right about I call them pandemic streamers. They just did it, and then as soon as everything opened up outside, they dropped it. But we're still going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So. Exactly. That we outside. We
outside. We out. You stay outside.
Stay outside. We're fine. More room for us in the house.
Okay. Carlos is also podcasts on streaming platforms on TV and mobile. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am 100% with you right there. Yes, podcast, the quote, what used to be called live radio, we'll call it live audio. That too, that is happening, and it's going to be indie. And yeah. And it's not going to be about competing with other people for it. It's going to be because this is what we do and this is who we are.
Right.
We're doing it. So.
Right. And real quick, this kind of reminds me of Pat. Remember, she does the local reporting in North Carolina, like local stuff. I mean, that's where it's going. So it's not about having millions of viewers. It's about having that dedicated fan base. And you're doing something locally. Right. You're doing something local, and people who can't get involved or can't go to the event, they can see you wherever you are. You're talking about it. So, yes.
The Durham Skywriter.
Durham Skywriter, yes.
Skywriter. And this is why I'm just so in love with Pat's content and what she does, because she is hyper local. She is passionate about North Carolina. She knows everything. She already publishes a publication centered around Durham, North Carolina.
Right.
Who better to do a daily live stream than that? And see, I think people, again, it's about audience. You're there to speak to others, not just to talk to yourself. But I think that there's been a little bit too much reliance on huge numbers, and it's not necessarily just about that. You're missing the mark if you think it's just about huge numbers. Huge numbers matter for advertising. And sponsorship, that's what they want to see. But when it comes to messages and dissemination and things getting out, you're missing the mark if you're only thinking about, well, how many followers do you have? Do you have at least 10,000? My dear, you're missing the mark.
Exactly. And if you're doing local stuff like her, you're going to focus on local businesses, local whatever, local government that can give you, they can advertise and contribute to the bottom line for you locally, not globally. So
Exactly. So I just have a couple more things because we are at time, but I found really interesting. Neimanlab.org is a great website. If you're interested in journalism and journalistic things, check out Neiman Lab. They have a great newsletter that, like, all of this information I get that comes from the newsletters that I subscribe to, obviously, and the sites that I check. But Neiman Lab is a great one for people that are interested in journalism. And I saw this because there are people that think that Apple News, the Apple News is too corporate. And there is an app that is aiming to be the anti-Apple News, if that makes sense. They're called Opt Out, and they're aiming to be a daily news app 100% free from corporate media narratives. So Alex Koch is one of the founders and actually got into it because he was scrolling through Apple News every morning in 2020, and he found the offerings a little bit limiting. So Koch is an investigative reporter at the Center for Media and Democracy, and he noticed that there were just a few news outlets that were repeatedly featured in the Apple News app. And he started using it because he had an iPhone. He said this: I got tired of the same kind of major news media outlets coverage. I didn't see some outlets that I happened to like more or that I thought would add nuance. So he came up with this new app with his colleague and friend, Walker Bragman. And again, it's called Opt Out News, and it's an aggregation app that shares news, podcasts, and streaming video from exclusively independent news publishers, according to Neiman Lab. So they founded Opt Out Media as a nonprofit in 2020 with a mission to, quote, educate the people about current events and help sustain a diverse media ecosystem by promoting and assisting independent news outlets. So it is still in beta, has 4 tabs: headlines, which is a curated feed of stories that's refreshed by humans 3 or 4 times a day; favorites, for saving a story; your feed, where you can select outlets you want to follow; and live streams for watching or listening to things in real time. So the app has 180 news outlets so far, including newspapers, magazines, digital publications, podcasts, video channels, and live streams from Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, it's interesting. So if you're interested in news and you're interested in seeing more than just the typical news outlets that you would see, and you're looking for more independent ones, some Opt Out may be something to check out. But like I said, it's still in beta, and it is free, and it's in the Apple Store. So I'm guessing it is not for Android yet, but if you are an iPhone user, you can check it out in the Apple Store.
Yeah, I'm looking. I found it, and then I went to the Instagram, looking at the Instagram, and then I'll go to the Apple Store and check it out. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I'm loving this age of media. I think that this is the greatest age in media since pound cake. That's right. I said
It's pound cake.
because I want pound cake. Yes. So I'm making pound cake right now. But
yeah, I'm installing it now because, like I said, I put the Bing on, and then I was looking at because I like to look, what kind of news stories are you going to give me? And it was giving me stuff I didn't want, and I kept having to press the down button. I was like, wait a minute, I don't even like Bing. Let me get rid of this thing. So I got rid of it. But I'm going to try this Opt Out News.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but tell me what you think of it. I probably will download and take a look. I always like to look at things. I am now regretting I never used it, but the OnlyFans had OF TV, which it still has, and OF TV is really supposed to be geared toward, quote, regular creators. But I downloaded it to look, and I'm like, these are just the same creators with like more clothes on. So it still has that same overtones of what over OnlyFans. I'm like, I don't want this. So I removed it from my phone. But I always usually like to look at things. So I have one more story for you, which I thought was interesting. So let's look at Dallas. And the Dallas Morning News has fired a reporter for calling the mayor bruh on Twitter. Now, when I'm saying bruh, I'm not saying bro, B-R-O. I'm saying bruh, R-U-H, which is like brother in basically African-American vernacular, right? So you say bruh instead of bro.
Right.
Megan Mangrum is a reporter. She moved to Dallas last summer to cover education as part of the Dallas Morning News' education lab. She worked in Tennessee and before, and she's from Florida. Yeah, go figure. All right, so on Saturday, February 11th, the Tampa Bay Lightning came to Dallas for a match, and Mangrum went to the American Airlines Center for her first Stars game. And a little before 1 p.m., she was running late, or apparently. She saw that Mayor Eric Johnson had criticized local media for, in his view, not fully reporting the good news about Dallas's crime numbers dropping for the second consecutive year. And the mayor also said that reporters were interested in only bad news, which can sometimes be the case with media. So in a tweet, see, this is why before you tweet, can you just reflect before you tweet? So in a tweet, Mangrum wrote the following: bruh, national news is always going to chase the trend. Cultivate relationships with quality local news partnerships. So, Mangrum said this. He was going after local media for their coverage of crime, and I saw some of my colleagues responding to him, tweeting out stories that the Dallas News had done saying, hey, Mr. Mayor, you know this isn't quite fair. She also added, standing up for my colleagues in the work that we do when I know we're doing good and honest work is something I pride myself on and something I look for in my colleagues and in my workplace as well. But that's not how her workplace saw it. 3 days after she sent the tweet, she was fired for addressing the mayor as bruh. So, Mangrum got a letter from the editor saying her presence was requested at a Monday meeting. An HR rep came. Oh, you know when HR is there, it's not good. It's not good. And that's how Mangrum found herself getting grilled by the paper's executive editor, Catrice Hardy. And according to her, Hardy, who was black, asked her if she would have used the word bruh if the mayor were white. Mangrum, who was white, said yes. Now, you know, good. Anyway, her Twitter was littered with the word bruh, is littered with the word bruh directed at all sorts of accounts, including those belonging to hockey fans and Oklahoma Department of Wildlife. She says she knows it's not, this is Mangrum says she knows it's not her place to tell people how they should feel. She said, I would never tell a person of color, oh, it wasn't racist. You shouldn't feel that way. But I know my intent, and it was not at all about race. I use that word with my friends when I tweet about hockey. It's part of my vernacular. I grew up in Central Florida, and you know I'm a millennial. So, I wanted your thoughts on this as my final story.
So she gets a pass because she's a millennial. So people need to get some decorum and some good home training before they get out into the world.
Home training is in short supply.
And my grandmother used to say there's no substitute for good home training. Okay. You don't get to cross over from place to place, just like we don't either.
For about this much money on it and whatever.
And I think she needs to be held accountable.
So after
So, I find this interesting because the thing is, I see it from, first of all, whenever you are, I don't care if it's on Twitter, and that's part of the problem with using social media as an official way to respond to people, because it is not an official tool. You tend to have colloquialisms, you tend to have vernacular, and these things tend to happen. So first of all, you shouldn't be addressing a public official as bruh. Even if you are black, you shouldn't be using vernacular.
Yeah, not in a professional setting. Not in a professional setting. Maybe y'all at, you went to the bar at the end or something. Uh-oh.
Exactly. Not in a professional setting.
Right.
I think that I also don't think that she meant any ill intent by it. I just think she did not think. When she probably does use the word bruh for a lot of, because there are a lot of millennials who are not black who use that word. Yeah. But they're using it in particular contexts, and she should have said, you know what? If I use it, that's part of the thing of being able to or allowed to do whatever the hell you like. You don't see the consequences for it, so you think it's okay to do. So before you did this, you're like, you know what? This could go off not so well if I call the black mayor bruh, even though I don't mean anything by it. But she didn't take the time to think about it. Oh, I'm just going to do like I do with my hockey people. Bruh, no. So it's also a case of millennials being, and not every millennial, but millennials being able to express and do whatever the hell they like without repercussions, and not being, like you said, home training, not being trained to do things properly and how to address people. He is Mr. Mayor, if nothing else to you. Right. He is sir, if nothing else to you. That doesn't change because you're a millennial and you are changing the game. Well, he's not. And I'm sure he didn't take it. It's disrespectful, right?
I've found a lot
of truth to it. It's disrespectful. Sorry, go ahead, Sharon.
It is disrespectful.
But I'm gonna tell you why, because this is like when I read stories about Gen Z workers in the workplace and how they have trouble with simple things. We think it's simple is because they have issues with context. They don't understand context in the way that we understand it. And there's been lots of stories about how older, a older manager, and they get a Gen Z worker or a young millennial worker who doesn't understand simple concepts of working in the workplace. They don't get it. Like, and there's the whole thing about the emoji use. Like, there's if we use the smiling emoji or the thumbs up, it was something about the thumbs up emoji, and Gen Z saw that as threatening and like a negative thing when the thumbs up emoji was used, because they have this issue with context. Not the they don't have it the way that we have it. Like simple business uh uh terms and conversations and email, they have issues with. And I think it has to do with context, but I don't know how to fix that, but that's what's going on.
You can't. I'm sorry.
I've read a lot, heard a lot of stories about issues with older people in management positions, and they're older and they have to deal with Gen Z or zillennials. They're calling them young millennials, that they don't get simple concepts. So it was some story about they saw the thumbs up emoji as a negative, like a commentary, like a negative commentary, negative feedback that they did something wrong, where it's like a thumbs up. It's like, what a thumbs up is, right? But they have context and they have issues with understanding simple stuff like that. I don't know why, but they do.
Hmm.
Well,
and I think it has to do with context. What's that?
I said I agree. Let this be a lesson that again, I really don't think she meant any harm.
No, I don't think so.
But she doesn't have the critical thinking skills to be able to discern when you should use that type of language and when you should not, or if you should use that type of language at all.
Right. Yeah, they don't understand context. Like, you can use that if it's, a non-professional setting, you're at a party or something, and there's, you're at the bar.
I disagree. I think they do understand context. I think it's a matter of familiarity. Just being unprofessional and way too familiar because of who we are.
And see, this is something else, because this actually sets a precedent. We have to look at it. So remember, the managing editor or whatever asked her, "Would you have used this word if the mayor was not black?" And she said yes. So now we have to look at the fact that, all right, now if there's, for example, a black reporter or black journalist that said, uses the word Brian, uses those familiarity. It has that type of familiarity with someone, they're not going to be able to use it because in equity, to be equitable, if somebody else tweets bruh that happens to be black, like if this person happened to be black, we have to look at, well, would the outcome have been the same? I don't think she should have used it. I don't think she necessarily meant anything by it, but now you have to be very careful, because now you also have to, quote, police the speech of black reporters too, even though this is something that is part of black vernacular. You have to police their speech now too, because if they use it, you're going to end up being accused of showing different treatment to the black reporter than the white. You see why Murdoch or whatever your name is, you shouldn't have used it. Now you've opened up a whole can of worms.
Wow.
That's what I have.
I just don't think that's the case. I think it's okay for me to call a sister if she's a sister. Okay? And this neutrality. And I think that in sports you get this a lot around locker rooms. And you may see this, just used in a different way. Like you said, context, I guess. I don't know.
Here, I'm putting a link. I did a search for the thumbs up thing in Gen Z. I'm putting a link in there.
Okay.
That's just one of the stories. But there's a thing about emoji use, especially with workers in Slack or WhatsApp or Messenger, where Gen Z sees a thumbs up as passive aggressive.
Really?
Why they think this is because they have a different mindset. That's what I'm saying. They have a different mindset. They have context issues that we don't have.
Okay.
That's what it is. So it's just a little insight into how they think in a business setting, work setting. So one of the stories, but there's more. There's more things. So
okay.
Thank you. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, check out. That's just one of the. It's from Mashable, but I did a Google search because I was like, what the hell is wrong with the thumbs up? They have a different concept. They process things differently. Their mindset is different. That's why it ties in with this story of wow.
Okay.
So reading this article might help a little bit into their, Gen Z millennial mindset. So you would think something innocent as a thumbs up is a problem, but
there you go.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, that's what I have. I'm done.
I just set the room on fire.
Yes, you'll leave us like that.
Yeah. She threw the bomb and left. Boom.
We want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in today and stayed with us during this time. Really good information here. Take what you need, go ahead and put it into practice. Take the information and make some wise decisions with your apps, with the things that you see online, and make sure that your tech works for you the way you need it to work. We will be back here next Friday talking more talk on social media, and tech in general. And First Monday is coming up, so we'll have a First Monday morning event online. If you want to talk about your business, we'll give you opportunity to do that Monday morning, and at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we will have a First Monday event at Seasons 52 if you are here local in the Sacramento area. TJ will be back on Tuesday, live and in person. Look, you need to be there on Tuesday. TJ has been, wow, just giving us all kind of insights and things that we need to do. You can follow TJ at Terry Johnson online everywhere. Follow her Discord and make sure that you are a part of her Discord because you get notifications when stuff happens and you need to know right away. You can follow TJ there.
And there'll be some other good stuff in there. There's a freebie channel. I'm going to add more to that. So that's where I'm going to put everything. So be in the Discord.
Yay. And then Dr. Tachi is coming back with Mediascope. Is that coming up this week?
Next Wednesday I'll be back.
Oh, okay.
Yay. So Dr. Tachi will be back with us next Wednesday on Mediascope, on YouTube and Twitch. Now that we know that I can add Twitch to our thing, you might be seeing us over on Twitch.
Hey.
And then the rest of the week, we have Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu on Thursday. We got Coach Karen on Wednesday talking about your money. And that kind of rounds us out. We're looking forward to talking to you again. For everybody on Clubhouse, those who are watching on YouTube, join the YouTube community. Just go over there and hit subscribe because we're going to be posting stuff over there. Things that are coming up. TJ, that was one of the things I learned from TJ. Use YouTube as your community spot.
Yeah.
Post stuff because you can post. You can put reminders and all kind of things.
Polls. You can put polls. You can put links to videos on your channel. It acts like Instagram. So I don't know why more people aren't using it, but a lot of people aren't on YouTube for different reasons. But you should be there.
And the cool thing is that everybody can get to YouTube without downloading the app.
Yep, without having you don't have to log in, none of that stuff. So that's what makes YouTube great.
So we will check in with you next week. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, your
Oh,
participation.
one quick thing, because we talk about TikTok and what may happen this year or next or whatever's happening. If you start your YouTube channel now, whatever little videos you're doing on TikTok, put them on YouTube as shorts. Build up the channel.
Right, because YouTube has made some moves to help you be more TikTok like.
Yep. So do that just in case.
And Dr. Tachi talked about alternative apps. You can look for that when she does her Be More.
Yep.
I'm telling you, we did a workshop on one of the apps that we use. You can create your little TikTok like video for to put it on Reels and on Shorts.
Yeah.
Very simple to use. You need to DM us and we will tell you how to do it.
Yep.
Okay. That's all we got. Terry?
I just want to say we look forward to seeing you at First Mondays. And remember, if you're looking to be a part of the BizChicks community, you can text Biz to 33777. Have a great day, and we'll see you Monday. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.